Consistency and focus are completely mutually dependent on one another, and that is something a lot of people do not think about. And this is something that I've taken a long time to learn, and as somebody who struggles a lot with attention, with focus, and with consistency, these are themes that I have a lot of trouble with. I think this kind of learning and reflection that I've had can help other people through this as well. And I reflect on this a lot, and I see the effects of it all throughout. So I run a software company. I've been running a company for 2.5, almost 3 years now. And consistency and focus are dependent on one another. You cannot be consistent in something if you are not focused enough on that thing. So it has to be some kind of focus in your life, otherwise you will not continue to do it, right? To build that consistency, especially when it's something new. For example, if you want to be consistent in working out, to some degree you have to focus on working out. That has to be some kind of part of your life. You can outsource focus, right? So you can hire somebody to make you train, let's say 5 times a week. If I pay a trainer to come and drag me out of my bed to go to the gym, I can do that. But effectively, I'm outsourcing that focus. The focus still exists. It is somebody's focus to do that thing. Focus and consistency have a very, very tight relationship. If you want to be focused on something, that means to be consistent at it. For example, these videos, I've recorded one for every single day, almost 300 days. In order to have that focus, let's say my thing is I want to focus on these videos. If I want to focus, I have to be consistent with it. Because if you focus on it for a week, is that really focus? Like, it's not. And that's the thing. If somebody comes and tells me, I want to focus on budgeting, I want to focus on budgeting my life better, or I want to focus on working out, and then they don't work out for months on end, then you're going to say, well, they never really were that focused on working out, were they? It was a bit of a phase, like it was one of their passive interests. But the more focus you have on something, the more consistent you are with that thing. And equally, the more consistent you are in something, the more focused you will be deemed to be. So for example, if you work out for 12 years, you'd say that person is pretty focused on their health, right? Like they're pretty focused on it. Now, there is an argument to be made that, after you are consistent for a very long period of time, you don't need to retain as much focus on that thing. This is not a hard and fast rule for absolutely everything. Like, let's say you're not really focused on brushing your teeth every day, but you might do it consistently. But I'm talking specifically in the domain of more professional or personal ambitions. Those things are very, very tightly coupled. I did not realize, I think learning those things is one of the greatest and most important things. You have to put 2 and 2 together. And like, when you say you want to focus on something, that means being consistent at it for a very long period of time. And if you want to be consistent, that means you have to focus. Focus means dropping other things. The quality of these videos has notably gone down when I focus on other things. That's been a problem for me. Like this past month or so, I hired help to basically grow socials beyond just YouTube. So things on Twitter and LinkedIn. LinkedIn and Twitter are great platforms for me to find clients, but I have personal ambitions to continue this YouTube stuff just because it's a personal project for me that I find really interesting and appealing. So the idea of being able to look back on a bunch of these videos when I'm, let's say, 40 or 50 is an appealing idea. But in the meantime, I know that business value, Twitter and LinkedIn, like short term, are more helpful for the stuff that I do as well, tech stuff. Like, you can make better relationships on those platforms. And so in turning a little bit of my focus toward those platforms, notably, the quality has gone down on these videos, and I have to make space and I have to remove those distractions. Like, I hired people to help me with that. Let them take that. I have to refocus and get more consistent with the time and effort that I put in. Consistency and focus comes from simplicity as well. This is my biggest learning in all of this, like in this whole domain of how to be consistent, something that I've struggled with for a very long time, and I find a lot of people struggle with, old, young, whatever. Consistency and focus is a very, very large difficulty for people because we like different things, we're curious as human beings, and curiosity means distraction. Some level of distraction is good, but the biggest learning I've had in like trying to retain your focus is just keeping it simple. The simpler it is, the easier it is to make it something that you show up for consistently. Too complicated a system to stay consistent. And equally, if you have too many things to focus on, you will fail in your focus. This idea of elimination of complexity, and elimination of options, I think, are the biggest tools to have more focus and more consistency. If you want more consistency, eliminate complexity. If you want more focus, eliminate options. You need to do both. That is my personal take anyway. This has helped me move my business forward immensely compared to the rate of progress that I had in previous seasons when I did not understand these principles. And it is my belief that these principles will come to take me very, very far. And there are others surely that I am missing, but these around focus and consistency will certainly set a much stronger base for my business and progress, basically. We have been growing at a faster rate than last year, and I hope to increase that growth rate a lot more with these learnings, which I think I've really only fully internalized this year. in the second half of this year. And I wish I learned those lessons earlier. I really did. Anyway, comment if you have any questions. Most people aren't subscribed to this channel, so if you watch this far, firstly, I really appreciate you. Secondly, you're one of the very, very few people that watches this far, so in that way, you are special. And thirdly, if you like the videos, if you like the content, do subscribe. I do appreciate it. Most people who watch me are not subscribed, so it's always nice to have an extra vote of confidence. I record every day, so drop questions if you're curious about anything else, but that's it for now.